Welcome into Factfinder Investigates. I'm Dylan Doming. A joint investigation now underway following two aborted landings of two commercial flights at Reagan National Airport. This comes just months after the deadly mid-air collision of Wichita's Flight 5342 with an Army Black Hawk helicopter. The FAA says air traffic controllers told two flights to abort landing because a Black Hawk helicopter was approaching the nearby Pentagon. However, that helicopter is reported to have taken a scenic route around the Pentagon instead of going directly to the heliport. Now the government's saying these incidents are unnecessary and avoidable.
I don't know who's on this helicopter, but if we're transporting generals through that airspace because they can't get in an SUV, they can't take an Uber, but they have to take a helicopter, that is wrong.
Both the NTSB and the FAA are investigating the incidents. Their preliminary report indicates that the Black Hawk was not flying in a restricted zone. But this incident comes as helicopters have been under intense scrutiny since the deadly mid-air collision involving Flight 5342. That crash killed 67 people, including all 64 passengers and crew on the airliner and 3 crew members of the helicopter. Preliminary data looks at several factors in the crash, including the helicopter's altitude, improper air traffic control staffing, and communication issues. The NTSB still investigating the crash and has yet to release its final report. We have the newly released affidavit on the suspect tied to last month's massive fire by the Orpheum Theater in downtown Wichita. He told police he only flicked a cigarette. The April 10th fire ignited in a pile of stacked roofing materials near the Orpheum's main entrance. Security camera video showing a man walking back and forth around the roofing material before reaching into the pile. And when the fire started growing, police say the suspect took off down a nearby alley. 2 days later, 33-year-old Jeremy Wyckoff admitted that he was the man in the video, but said he didn't start the fire. Police say they found him with lighters and a butane torch and charged him with arson. There was only minor damage to the Orpheum and $20,000 worth of damage lost on the roofing material. We have an alert so you don't fall for it. A Kansas man thought he was getting a good deal on a truck topper. Now he's out nearly $5,000 and struggling to get that money back. The Better Business Bureau scam report shows that the Kansans bought a truck topper online and still doesn't have it. The man says he bought the topper from Global Ways Logistics and he had paid for it using Cash App. The company told the Kansan that they would deliver it. Then they started to charge him refundable fees. And if he didn't pay them, they would take back the topper. But it was such a good deal, he didn't mind paying those fees.
So you could see why there's some calculated math going on in the background, right? Of how low can I make this product such that even if there is a compounding refundable fee that's requested of the consumer, the person still feels like they're getting a little bit of a deal.
The BBB says the best way to avoid losses like this is to avoid using peer-to-peer payment apps. That includes Venmo and Cash App. Once the money is sent, it's very hard to track and get it back. And as we continue throughout severe weather season, especially here in Kansas, the threat of scammers increases. The BBB says when disasters hit, scammers will come from out of town and maybe even out of state and go door to door with inflated offers, asking for cash up front. They'll often say they were driving by and noticed damage. The BBB says while some legitimate contractors do canvass neighborhoods, it's important to know the difference.
Ask them questions, tell them you want to make your decision, you want to check the BBB website, you want to look at their references. They will let you do that. They'll give you that time. If you want to go through your insurance company, things like that. Those are your green flags when it comes to somebody at your door.
So here are some tips. Prepare as much as possible before a storm hits. Make a list of trusted local contractors so you're not scrambling to find help. And if your property is damaged, take photos, document everything possible, and call your insurance company as soon as possible. Well, pharmacy access continues to be a problem here in Kansas, especially in the more rural parts of the state. They're called pharmacy deserts. Coming up next on Factfinder Investigates, we hear from families on the struggle this creates to get the medication that they need.